What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another remote front office podcast. Today, we are going to be covering the start of the Bulls 2024 season. This is just going to be a preseason preview. We will do an actual preview once the season starts. But I kind of want to give my thoughts and expectations for this roster as we come into a new season with a new direction, hopefully. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We are still on the once-a-week schedule, but as we get into regular season and there's just more to talk about, we will eventually be going back to 2 times a week, so it'll be Monday and Friday uploads. But today, this is just going to be a quicker video because we are going to be focusing strictly on the Chicago Bulls, and not necessarily what I expect for a season-long update, but rather more of what I want to see as the preseason rolls around. So a couple of things. I don't know how much Vucevic and Zach LaVine plan on playing in the preseason. I haven't seen much one way or the other. I hope it is a minimum amount. I really want to see the young guys for this preseason. Another thing, I want to see Lonzo Ball, mainly because I want to see kind of what the rotations are looking like. I'm assuming Lonzo doesn't start, at least at the start of the year, because we want him to remain healthy and as healthy as possible in case maybe we trade with the trade deadline or if he stays the full year, however it plays out. But honestly, I just want to see Lonzo Ball playing basketball again in this uniform. I understand Bulls fans are kind of split as far as the pluses and minuses with Lonzo. When he initially got here and it was the start of his tenure, we saw this team play with pace. We saw this team play with just a poise, an organization that we haven't really seen these past couple of years. And I want to get back to that, but ideally, I want Lonzo to be able to play a full year, right? Because if anything, maybe Lonzo plays some three, maybe he plays some off guard. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing our backup point guard, possibly our starting point guard, depending on how the year goes. Another thing I want to see, kind of along those lines, is I want to see us play with pace again. I feel like since Lonzo's been out, we haven't seen this team play with pace because when you're relying on LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Vooch, those are guys that kind of like to get into their own bag, play at their own pace. Vooch wants to play in the post. LaVine and DeMar kind of want to either take a pick at the top or work by themselves, work into a jumper. And I hope with Lonzo hopefully coming back and Josh Giddey now on this roster, we start to see a little bit more of the younger guys kind of really push the tempo. Another thing I want to see is now hopefully with Lonzo coming back, I want to see the three-pointers go up. I understand we've been one of the better three-point percentage teams, but we are towards the bottom as far as the attempts. You saw it with the Lakers early in preseason, and I know it's preseason, we shouldn't be taking anything away. But one thing I noticed about the Lakers is they were at least attempting them, right? They were running off-ball actions. They were pushing it and trying to get more into that modern style, right? I think teams, now that you've seen Boston do it, teams are starting to understand that it's just a math game at this point, right? Even if you're going to say maybe you shoot 20% one night, you shoot 35% another night, maybe you shoot 40% one night. At some point, you have to hit that minimum threshold of you're going to shoot threes in the game, win, lose, or draw, right? I understand that some coaches are kind of set in their own ways, and they want to work through their system, through their philosophies, but at some point, you have to start incorporating threes, make, miss, whatever, right? At some point, it's just a math game. And if you're not taking threes like everybody else, you're at a disadvantage. You start the game down 8, whether you like it or not, right? We saw that with this Bulls team the last couple of years. We've seen it with the Lakers teams. We've seen it with all the teams that are at the bottom of that attempt list, right? You can be efficient at it. That's fine. But at some point, you have to at least hit a minimum attempt volume, right? I want to see Javon Carter shoot more. I mean, obviously, LaVine, I think, will shoot some. Jalen Smith will help with a little bit. Kobe White. But I think that in general, this team as a whole needs to start attempting more threes. Another thing, I want to see the young guys play a majority of the minutes. Like I said earlier, I don't really want LaVine playing. I don't want Vooch playing. I would like Lonzo to play just to see it on the court again, right, and see that it's a real thing. But with his injury history, I'd say he probably sits out the entire preseason. I want to see a lot of Montes Buzelis. I want to see a lot of Josh Giddey. EJ Liddell's on this roster. I liked him coming out of college, so I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of him. Dalen Terry, I think, needs to play. like just a lot of these young guys, a lot of these young wings slash guards. I want to see them get minutes. I want to see what Patrick Williams looks like out there with, say, a lineup like Io, Giddy, himself, EJ Liddell, and Jalen Smith or something, right? I want to see what happens when Patrick Williams is the number one option. I want to see when he's the number two option, right? I want to see these guys in different roles that probably won't be in throughout the year. Just because I think this is a good time for them to start the development, especially with guys like Buzelis. We kind of know what Io is at this point in his career, but I think these guys can take a leap, right? So like more Julian Phillips minutes, because we know throughout the season, Billy Donovan has a tendency to not play these guys, and some of these guys have been here a couple of years, so now it's starting to come up on contract decisions, or some guys just got paid, or like just I think we need to figure out what this team is past the Lonzo, Levine, Vooch roster, right? We've already seen DeMargo. Javon Carter will be gone in probably not next year because I think he has a player option next year, but the year after. Lonzo's going to be gone the year after because of his player option, so I'm assuming he's taking that. But if we don't trade him, obviously he'll be on this roster. I think Levine's gone next offseason. Same with Vooch. Um, so I just think we're at the point now, right? Like Io's starting to come up on the end of his contract that he just re-signed. Like we need to see what the next step is for this roster. I understand we're not going to be competitive. I'm fully embracing that. However, as I've said that for years, I want this team to finally see the direction that it should have gone in years ago, right? I know we've talked a lot on this channel. My thoughts on the Vooch trade, all the stuff after that, it's whatever. It's water under the bridge. We're moving past it. I want to see what this roster is going to look like in the next 3 years. You have to make a decision on Josh Giddey this year on his extension, and you pretty much have to pay him, right? Because if you don't, the Caruso trade looks 10 times worse. Because then you just essentially gave up Caruso for a rental for Josh Giddey to go somewhere else. I like Josh Giddey. I think Josh Giddey has promise. But if you don't re-sign him, that is where we are at, right? So yeah, again, does Billy Donovan make the right rotations? Does Billy Donovan emphasize playing the young guys? Is Billy Donovan the right coach for this roster? I don't think so. I think a lot of Bulls fans have said that the last couple of years that we don't think so. I liked what he did in OKC before this, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't click here. But I'm going to give him a chance, right? This is the year. Go ahead, Billy. Do your thing. However you think this roster should run. I'll do predictions as far as what I think the win-loss total will be come closer to the regular season. And we'll go over my regular season expectations and hope for this franchise, or however you guys want to phrase it at that time. But I think the main thing right now is, how does the young future look on this team? How does Lonzo look coming back? Is he playing 10 minutes a game? Is he playing 20 minutes a game? Is he playing 18 minutes a game? Is he playing 30 minutes a game? What's his role in this roster? We know Levine and this front office are at odds. Do they make sure that he gets all the shine in the world? And we go back to last year where he's putting up 52 points in a loss against Detroit? Or is he at, say, 20 points a game, 30 minutes, fairly balanced assist rate? What does he look like, right? What team gets desperate for a center at the trade deadline? Is Vooch gone at that point, or do we wait till the offseason? I think these are all things that we'll kind of see some light on over these next couple of weeks as we start the preseason and then get into regular season. But again, like I said, it's going to be a shorter video. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts as the season starts tomorrow. I'm going to try and sprinkle in, I did try and get a playback authorization. We'll see. I have to figure out exactly how we're going to do that, but we may or may not be doing that. If not, I'll obviously have the videos weekly. I will try and keep the Bulls rants to a minimum. I know I tried last year. There were a couple of times that it just didn't happen. But again, this is an NBA channel, not a Bulls channel, so we will try and keep the Bulls rants to a minimum. But I appreciate you guys coming through. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.